Good morning, party people. So it is a glorious day. Tristan and I currently on our way to get a DEXA scan. So we spoke about doing this last week on my Instagram story. We're gonna go check out exactly what my body fat percentage is, where I'm holding my fat, all that stuff. I've never had this done before, so this is gonna be a new experience. And then we're gonna meet up with Lane later on, and we're gonna talk through your questions to do with bulking, cutting, all the fat loss, fat gain questions that, again, you asked on Instagram. We're gonna go through and answer them. So on the way.
I feel like I have to be quiet here because we're in a waiting room, but I've got to fill out all these forms so I don't sue them if they tell me I'm fat. I assume that's what it is. the non-suing fat policy.
I just got the one chair bubble swap around there.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Alright.
Should I be scared?
No. You shouldn't be scared at all.
Yeah, I'm excited.
You're excited? Yeah, that's what I'd like to hear. Excitement. So what we'll get you to do first is jewelry off,
Yep.
clothes off, leave
Don't
your
include that, 'cause it'll
underwear.
come
If nothing comes out, just leave it in, because then you just keep leaving it in every time,
Yeah,
so it's
okay.
accurate.
Great.
Okay. And then clothes off, leave your underwear on.
Yep.
Gown goes front on,
Yep.
and ties around the back.
Fashion.
You're like an airline steward.
Cool, great. Yeah. And it comes down from
Jewelry,
above
yeah.
and fantastic.
Well, okay, so we'll get back to the wall here, and I'll do your height.
Oh, this is a great thing. I can ask how tall I am.
Yeah.
It's like an official measure.
It is official. Official today. Alright, so. Oh, sorry.
It's okay. Go shorter as we did that.
Alright, and then just step away from me. Okay, so like 172.2. Sure. So here's the scale here, so hop on the scale there. I'll just get your weight. Okay, cool.
I've lost a kilo this week. I didn't eat enough yesterday.
So the main thing with the scan is that you stay still and straight throughout the whole scan. So there's no like big movements or anything, okay? Now I'm just going to press start. So in a few seconds you'll hear the machine rev up. It'll scan from your head all the way down to your toes. You'll hear a beep. It'll stop. The scan's done.
Plenty of space.
Yes.
For you.
4 years. Yeah, well now. I know people are still like getting to know. So here you are here. So the machine breaks you down into your different body parts, your arms, your legs, your trunk, this bit here, android your waist and gynoid your hips, and it tells you what you're made up of fat mass wise, muscle mass wise, and bone mineral content wise. Your body fat percentage came in at 11.3.
Oh, it's lower than I thought. Well, I've been sitting at about 6 or 7% for like the last couple of years. So this is a bulk. It's putting him at 11. I thought it'd be higher than that.
Okay.
But
So you've
it's also
surprised
interesting
yourself.
to see where I'd be holding the fat.
Yeah.
I know my legs hold a bit more.
Yeah, so this is where this comes in.
Yeah.
So this first page.
Yeah.
So you're going to be able to see like
Yeah.
what your right leg composes of fat mass, muscle mass and bone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where are we? Here. So now here's your fat mass index scale. So this takes over the BMI because you'll be always overweight on your BMI because you've got a lot of muscle.
Yep.
So BMI puts it together, whereas we've got the DEXA so we can separate it.
I'm fat.
According to the BMI.
That's reading between the lines here.
Now your overall bone health, so as we saw you're above the 3, which is good. So you're the 98th percentile out of 100. So that's really good. So you're on the higher end for your bone health. So that means the density of your bones is good. Now this does your overall bone health.
Cool.
So here's the average for you at 30.8.
Yeah.
The blue, here's the medium line, and you're up here in the above standard range.
I have broken so many bones over the years, which is just ridiculous considering that I've got above average health in my bones.
Now how many calories you burn at rest? It's 1,827. This is you, okay? So that's how many, if you were just in bed all day, didn't move, just sleeping the whole day, that's what you need to survive, just in your breath rate, really. So you need that,
to
but you
2,000
told me
calories.
you're eating like 4,000, so you're way above. But yeah, so that's your bare minimum, which sometimes it's a real shock to people to know, oh my God, I don't eat that much.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
So essentially what we're saying there is I need 1,800 calories to just exist every day. So that doesn't include energy expenditure, it doesn't include anything we're doing, exercise, standing, moving, walking. So obviously I need to eat a lot of calories to be able to maintain the way I'm going. That's why 4,500 calories is only just putting me up above my body fat percentage.
So beautiful.
Wonderful.
Good stuff. Very healthy.
Thank you so much.
Yay.
You're very good on camera. Thank you for that.
Thank you for coming.
Alrighty then, that's test done. She was wonderful, so like easy to explain. So I'm gonna go through now and I'm gonna take our results, go back and see Lane. We're gonna discuss now, talking about training, what we need to do in my training going forward, and also just how you guys can sort of get an idea of your calories and stuff. So let's go that way. Alright, we're back. We've got the results here. We've also got this man. Hey, Lane.
Hey.
So we've got the results of the body scans. We might go through these things first, just so we can kind of give an understanding of, one, to show you where I'm at.
Thank you.
Are you proud of me?
Super proud.
So essentially, the whole thing with the DEXA scan, the reason we did this was to get a better understanding. The DEXA is essentially the best way that you can get a pretty clear understanding of what's going on in your body in terms of like body fat percentage, where you're holding your fat, storing that sort of thing, all of that stuff. So we've gone through here and essentially I'm doing pretty well. The bulk period is being successful thus far in terms of I'm actually holding a little bit less body fat than I expected. I thought I'd be up over 12.
Okay.
I'm actually at 11.3% body fat, which is still below average, which is a nice thing. I'm staying relatively lean and I'm holding the fat fairly evenly around my body. It's not like I'm holding fat in one area, so I'm quite lucky in that regards.
But what a DEXA, as Nate said, gives you your fat mass, your lean mass, your total mass, your bone mineral density, so it can tell you how strong your bones are, super important in the older population. It does give you something called a fat-free mass index. This is a score, it's kind of like a body composition score for people who have a lot of muscle, because the other one, the BMI, as you can see on the body mass index, it says Nate's overweight. Clearly he's not unhealthy and overweight.
I'm chunky.
Yeah, so the BMI does have some value. We won't get into that right now. But the most important score is this FFMI, which is 23.16. Now, a lot of people say the natural limit is 25. If you're scoring above 25, there's a high likelihood of some special supplements. So 23.16.
Steroids.
23.16 is a really great score because it lets you know you've also got some room to grow. You do still have room to grow into that. So, it's a pretty good DEXA scan. Pretty healthy for a guy on a bulk.
So what we're going to do here is keep this. I'll go in again in maybe another 8 weeks, and while I'm into my cut, I've got another 2 or 3 weeks left here of this bulk. So I'll go in about 3/4 of the way into my cut and check out where I'm at, what has changed. We've noticed here that my left arm is much smaller than my right arm, so that's something that I want to work on. Same with my left leg. I'm just right heavy. So yeah, it's cool. It means I can work on some things in my training to build up areas, work on where I have differences in my weight, and we can build from there. So stay tuned for that one. So the next thing we're gonna do here is jump into your questions. I asked this on Instagram the other day for your questions to do with bulking, what you wanted to know more of. So let's pull up Instagram. Okay, so the first question here, and this is the one that I probably have received 30 or 40 times in this one, is how do you bulk without gaining fat? You want the answer?
You don't. In order to gain muscle, you need to eat in a calorie surplus. You are going to put on some fat. You can mitigate it, as is example here, but unfortunately, you're going to have to put on a little bit of fat.
You need to be eating more calories than you're burning. So the only way to put on any size, being muscle or fat, is to eat extra, and you will put on some fat in that way. As seen, I put on some fat here. We're still keeping relatively low, but I'm definitely doing enough there to bulk up. Hence why it's called a bulk. So that's the first question we've got there. How do you maintain abs while bulking? All those ones, they all tie in together. It's kind of, it's like a compromise. If you want to grow elsewhere, you have to realize that you're going to soften up a little bit, lose a little bit of definition, but that's all part of the process. Can we bulk and do endurance sports simultaneously? That's a great question. Lane, what are your thoughts here?
Yeah, you absolutely can. It's about periodizing your training really, really smart. You kind of want to cut out any extra fluff. Only do work that is pushing you towards achieving your goals. You'll obviously need to eat a bunch more if you're spending a lot of time doing cardio, but yeah, definitely can be done.
The hardest part with this for most people with that is just the time it takes to eat the amount of calories you're going to need.
Totally.
Endurance sports, if you're doing that plus training and eating, you're going to need to eat a lot of calories. So you need some really calorie dense foods need to be consumed. Here's a really good question. That's something we didn't realize. What is skinny fat? It never gets addressed.
Small people, not a lot of muscle, but still a high body fat percentage.
And the beauty of skinny fat people is it's really easy to make you look shredded because all it takes is cutting those calories out to reduce down or lift heavier, bulk up while you've still got that a little bit of excess to use, and then we can cut you down from there. If you guys want to know about training programs and that side of things, make sure you check the link below. We've got a quiz that is perfect to help you decide what's the best program for you. How much of a surplus in calories should you be eating? This is a question I saw today. Someone said, Nate's eating 4,000 to 4,500 calories. Is that excessive?
Yeah, so no to the second part of the question. I'll get into that in a second. Surplus is tough. For each person, it's very different. Start at about 200 a day, which will give you 1,400 a week. It's very small, but gauge how much weight you put on and go from there. Regarding Nate's 4,500, it's 4,500 on the high days. He will have a couple of days here and there that isn't that high. As you can see, the resting metabolic rate,
it's just over 1,800 calories.
yeah, and so what that is an estimate of how many calories you would burn if you were to do nothing but rest. Nothing, nada, goose egg.
If I slept all day, I would still burn close to 2,000 calories.
Yeah. Factor that in with 10 or 11 weight sessions, soccer, running, surfing, and all the other stuff he does. 4,500 is just, it's not really that many for him. I mass on like 3,000 because I'm super lazy and I don't walk a lot. So, and I'm heaps heavier. So it's just about the amount of work you do. Nate's also naturally a pretty skinny, lean dude. So we've really got to bump up those calories.
Do you have to do cycles, interchanging, bulking, and cutting? This is a really good question.
I highly recommend it. 3 phases of dieting: bulking, cutting, and maintaining. It's important to cycle through all 3 of those. I wouldn't usually recommend a bulk straight into a cut. Nate's pretty advanced, so he's going to do that. But usually I would say bulk, maintain, cut.
The whole reason I'm doing this bulk is because I've been in essentially a maintenance period for about 2 years. I've had to stay fairly consistent. There's been some very, very limited growth within that time. I want to give my body a break, so this bulk is actually more of a break for me. Then I'll cut back down to about my maintenance weight. As he said, I've been doing this long enough that I know what my body needs and I know how to listen to my body, so we're doing this because I can work this way. But yeah, essentially you want to be kind of like bulking up, having that break period, and then cutting down from there. Another really great question. I do CrossFit. How do I build my arms? What do you recommend? The beauty of CrossFit is it's going to keep you fit and healthy, and it's going to work a whole lot of different muscle groups. There's a lot of compound lifts within that. The negative is you're not going to get any isolation within that. So if you want to build your arms,
You need to train your arms.
you need to do some more isolation stuff. So that's just how that is. I'd recommend checking out Obi. He's part of the Gymshark team. Dude's what they call like a cross lifter. He does CrossFit as well as bodybuilding, and he looks impeccable. How many times a day do I eat? I'm not very good at eating big meals. So I find it easier to have bigger meals, but more of them throughout the day. So at the moment I'm having like 2 breakfasts, and I'll have a lunch, and I'll have an afternoon meal, then I'll have a dinner, and then dessert. And dessert's the best part of my day. So personally, I find it easier to have sort of like 6 or 7 meals a day at the moment in order to get my calories in. Otherwise, I just wouldn't do it. I don't have the stomach. Lane can sit and eat a big meal very easily.
As you can tell, my stomach.
I can't do that. I struggle through big meals, so I find it a lot easier to do these like smaller amounts more often.
But 4 or 5 times a day should get you out of trouble, including your shakes for optimal protein synthesis and all that kind of stuff. So.
Yeah. When you plateau with weight gain, what steps do you take to keep progress going?
Eat more. No, not usually eat more, but it depends on so many factors. Depends how long you've been dieting. Depends if you're giving your training everything. Depends what phase of your training you're in your bulk. So it's a tough one to answer, but try any of those 3 first, or get yourself a coach who knows what they're doing, and they'll be able to fix that for you.
I have a coach that knows what he's doing. I've just been really bad at eating this past week. I've had things on stopping me getting my meals in. So I plateaued this week, but I know that's on me. It's not on the coaching. So I just need to be better with my food, which I'm back into this week. What are the benefits of bulking?
You get more muscles.
That's essentially it. That's essentially it. Yep. Do I take creatine? Yes, I do. If you guys want to see more on supplementation, check out the link up there. We did a full video on this. And if you'd like to see a more in-depth talk about supplements, we're going to do that in the future. So stay tuned for that one too. Okay, when you're bulking, is it weight that matters or the reps apart from diet?
Oh, in terms of in the gym?
Yeah.
It's the stimulus to the muscle, so however you get that best. Easiest way is probably weight, but you can throw in other things like changing your tempo and supersets and drop sets and all that kind of stuff. But you just want to make sure you're stimulating the muscle.
For me, this period of training, I'm doing a lot heavier weights for less reps. It's a big change, it's a shock to my system, and it is destroying me every session. I'm used to doing higher reps, so by the end of my sessions, I'm pretty wrecked at the moment. It means I know what I'm doing is working. What's the difference between a dirty bulk and a clean bulk, Lane?
There isn't one.
A calorie is a calorie. There's no such thing as like a bad calorie or a good calorie. As long as you're getting your macros, which are
macronutrients, what makes up our food, protein, carbohydrates, fats, and there is a fourth one, ethanol/alcohol. We have a video on that too.
We do have a video on that.
But yes, for body composition, I'm not talking about health here, pure body composition. There is no such thing as a good calorie or a bad calorie. We just want to make sure we equate it, throw some veggies in, eat some fiber just to stay healthy. But a dirty bulk traditionally is just people who go way too over the top and get too fat, and clean bulk is people who stay in a more lean range.
There was another question which I don't know where it is right now. I saw it before, but we'll go to that one now. What body fat percentage should people be aiming to max out at when bulking?
For sure.
A healthy way.
About 15%. That's about the top end of where you want to get to. And so you probably don't start a bulk if you're above about 15% body fat. You're probably not going to get much. You won't get as much muscle as you could have if you're in that 8 to 15% range.
Okay, so the question here is, this is directly related to mine. Is 6 weeks too short for a bulk? The answer is yes. It is probably too short for a bulk. But as you said before, I've been training for a long time. I know my body, and I have to work within timeframes of training and my job. So hence why I've been kind of maintaining for the past 2 years. This period, I'm home for 8 weeks, 10 weeks. 10 weeks at home. I'm able to bulk up in that time. Not a huge amount. I'm not looking for massive growth. I'm not trying to get the biggest guy ever. Just trying to give my body a bit of a break and try something different here. Optimal time frame, probably close towards 12 weeks.
12 weeks for you people playing at home. You can go a little bit longer if you're a more advanced athlete, but 12 will get you out of trouble.
Yeah. This question here is, it kind of ties in what we were saying before. Is it possible to bulk without increasing body fat, appearing more plump? That also ties into what Lane was saying before about hitting about 15% body fat. 15% you're going to soften up, but if you're doing it the right way, 15% isn't that much. You're not going to look fat. You're just going to look a little bit softer. So if you're building your muscle and you've got good amounts of muscle there as well as that extra bit of fat, you're not going to look too soft. It's part of it. I mean, aim to 13-14%, you should be pretty safe.
And it depends where you hold your fat, but if you get up, the purpose of the bulk isn't to look good while you're bulking. I get that people do get caught up in appearance, and that is definitely something to consider. But the point of the bulk is to have more muscle when you cut. So think about the bulk as the journey to the destination. You do need to go through that period. That's why a lot of people do it over winter. They don't have their shirt off as much. They can be a little bit more confident in themselves. But if the end goal is to look as good as you possibly can, then the bulk is part of the journey. You've just got to understand that it's getting you where you need to be when you cut. And cutting's the easy bit. Bulking is way, way harder.
It's true. How you calculate your calorie increase? Lane did it for me. That's what we do. That's our job. Milestone, we will help you get those goals. So if you want to work out what your ideal calorie is, either to lose weight, gain weight, build muscle, whatever it is, we can help you there. Make sure you check out that link below. We can help you on that journey. Do timing of meals / meal frequency matter, or is it just about total calories over the day?
Timing and frequency of food will probably give you about 5% of your overall dieting success. So for someone at like Nate's level, Steve's, Cook's level, those kind of guys, yes, timing definitely will play a factor if they want to look at their best. If you're not at that level, 5% isn't a great deal, but it does all add up. However, it's not the be all and end all. Most important thing is calories. Second most important thing is protein. After that, supplements, timing, food composition, all that stuff kind of makes up the tiny little tip of the pyramid.
Yeah. Last question here is one I'm going to answer. How do I deal with body dysmorphia being in the fitness industry. This is something I touched on in an Instagram post the other week, which we'll put up here. Tristan, can you do that thing where you make it look good? Thank you. I sort of said the whole reason I haven't really done a bulk in a while is because I've been kind of caught up in needing to look my best at all times and needing to have abs, and it's not necessarily the healthiest way of being, and I've realized that, and hence why I'm doing this bulk, and I'm kind of really enjoying the process, to be honest. It also helps I'm staying quite lean, but I'm giving this the full chance of eating as much as I can, and I'm trying to just embrace the process of bulking and seeing what happens and sharing it with you guys, because it is a real thing. It's the only way you're going to grow is by going through this. I think that's something that we need to be more real on social media. So hopefully you guys are enjoying me sharing the process here. If you have any further questions, do not hesitate to ask. DMs are always open at Milestone Strength on Instagram. We'll see you guys next time.